If you're not doing social history to understand the time and place your ancestor lived, you're missing out on the clues that helps you find more records for them and then eventually write their stories. Let's dive into how to do social history using Findmypast. Howdy, I'm Devin Noel Lee with Family History Fanatics, where we help you understand your DNA, climb your family tree, and write your ancestor stories along the way. And today's video combines those last two, the researching and writing your family history. Now, we can use Findmypast to explore the locations our ancestors lived to get a better insight into who they might have been. Now, when you're doing social history, you will rarely look for your ancestor's name. Instead, you're looking for where they lived and the things that they were involved in. Let's go over to Findmypast and start exploring the record collections available for you on their website. Here we are on Findmypast, and we're going to go to a card catalog. And thanks to a viewer, I found a new way to access that card catalog. If you go to the 3 stacks, the hamburger stacks, click on that. You can click on search and then A to Z record sets. So another way to access this invaluable resource on Findmypast. So now we're going to filter down to Canada. And we're going to filter down to Ontario. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over here and we're going to filter or reorganize these collections by subcategory, and then go forward until we see social history over here on the right. When we get there, we can start looking for record collections that can tell us about the locations our ancestors lived, the ethnic groups that they were part of, and many other great collections to give you insight into who they are. Now, when you filter to Ontario, if you want to then put in a town like Hamilton, just type it in the search box, it'll filter it down, and now we see the collection that I want to show you, the Hamilton Centennial. So in the Hamilton Centennial, we can go and try to search for a name, but if you have a name like I do for Comfort, you're probably going to strike out very quickly. So when I click on Comfort, I get to this page, and it's an ad for comfortable tires. Not exactly what I was looking for. The other entry talks about a United Gas and Fuel Company. We have served its citizens with gas and coke, the fuels that give satisfaction and comfort. So we're not looking into this collection to find our ancestors, especially if they have such a unique name. Instead, we're going to go to the first page or the second page, and we're going to start exploring what is there. Now, on this first page that I navigated to, page 2, we see a picture. So if you do have Alexander of Tunis in your family tree, well, here's a fabulous picture for you. But what we're looking for is what is this collection about, and then what information is available within it. 100 years of progress. So this book is just going to focus on Hamilton County and its 100 years of its history. So I'm navigating page by page using these navigation buttons at the top. We're scrolling through, and we're going to get to details about what happened in the location of Hamilton, and we're going to find pictures, a lithograph in the 1850s. So if you're looking for photographs, then you might be able to reference some of these ones in here. Within this book, you're going to learn about some of the histories of the churches that are in the area. You will find people, but these people may have been other individuals they worship, the leaders of their congregation, their neighbors, who knows. But you want to go ahead and dive into this information because you can find all this rich social history and context for your ancestors and the religions that they practiced. If you wanted to access a history book hyper-focused on the areas your ancestors are living, you want to explore these centennials, these county histories, because they give you the rich details about the locations your ancestors lived, and you can then use that information to look for more record collections or use that information to enhance the stories that you are writing. There was another social history book that I found that's called The Land Settlements in Upper Canada, and this gives me further information about the location where my ancestors lived. And I like this because it's a first-hand account of a location. As to the religious conditions towards the middle of the last century, Dr. Norman MacLeod of the Barony Church, Glasgow, on his return from Canada, gave this word picture of vacant parishes he visited. And then he goes through and talks about the areas he visited, and we can use that for our own understanding of our ancestors, the conditions that they lived in, maybe why records didn't exist at that time and place for them. But again, I keep pointing this out, this is where you're going to get a lot of the rich details to enhance your family histories that you write. I have one more super cool social history find that I found for my German Canadians. Let's go take a look. So this book is called The German Canadian Folklore Image Collection. And when we zoom in, we have superstitions were collected among German people. Many of them may, however, be of English or Scottish origin. And then it goes through and talks about some of the cures. Wearing earrings if you have sore eyes. I usually think wearing earrings makes me have sore eyes. I don't know how this works out so much. You also, if a bee stings you, kill it if possible, and the wound will not mortify, unless you're allergic to bees. A cure for lumbago is to lie on the floor face down and have a wife tread on the afflicted part. I can't tell you how cool some of these details that help me understand some of the potential folklore for my German ancestors who moved to Canada and really help me connect in them. Now, if I was to write about perhaps them, when you have hair inclined to spit, should it be cut a full moon? I won't necessarily, this is what they believed, but if I'm writing anything other than historical fiction, I could talk about how people in this area were known to believe XYZ. And then we can find some of these cool anecdotes, especially if we discover an ancestor suffered from a lot of body pains. We can talk, well, maybe in addition to medicine, they tried walking on that part. So get into Findmypast, get into these these social history activities, because they really can help you come to appreciate the past so much more. If you have further questions about using Findmypast, let me know. Until then, check out these videos on how to search other collections on Findmypast.